What's up, guys? We are on the square at the new office. Today we're going to walk around a little bit and show you the activity that's happened over the last 2 weeks. It's really some of the finished pieces are starting to come together, so you can really feel and see what the final building is going to be like. I'm standing actually on the sidewalk of the square. This is our temporary wall to the left, and the city has asked us to remove this. The Sapele windows have been finished on the outside. I don't know if we're going to put another coat or not on them. The painters worked yesterday on it, but you can see the sealer really highlighted the ribbing in some of the pieces. On the far end, you can start to see some of the shimmering. And once we get this front canopy down and the light is really on the front, I think these things may really pop. You can see this piece over here. It's got a nice orange color to it. Supposedly Sapele darkens over time. I'm going to be interested to see if that is the case. This bottom sill piece here is darker than the side pieces. I don't know if that's because it's just been out in the weather and it's more of a horizontal piece versus these vertical pieces. Over here you can see how this piece is considerably darker. Now they did just finish it Friday. I'm finding that as the sealer dries, it does seem to lighten. It's very dark when it first goes on. Here's our epigram. But see the ribbing right here? I mean, you can start to see the shimmering. If I had to do this all over again, I would have gotten quarter sawn for all the pieces. But that might have been too much. It's nice just to have a little bit of it here and there. If you had these stripes everywhere, it may not be as nice. You can see this piece up here is really fantastic. Corner piece is just incredible. Of course, we got the tile in right here. This is a binary code. It's a Shakespeare sonnet. Talks about kind of the futility of what we do. That design is just repeated over and over and over. Some days I feel like that we just are kind of recycling things from the past. The inside really looks fantastic. It's like fine furniture. This piece here is great. It's a solid piece. We did end up getting the fire alarm control and some of the lighting controls in the wall, and so that turned out nice. We've had to spend a lot of time getting these hinges to sit properly. We've actually replaced this piece and did a nice job of cutting it in. Sort of struggling at this piece right here. I was messing around with it and pulled it out. I don't know if it's going to be a problem. Yeah, see, it's torn a little more. May try to glue that back in there. This piece right here, just it sort of pops off anyway. If that becomes a problem over time, we can pop that off. But these are the old hinges. So the hinges here are probably from the 1930s. Really are cool. I've spent considerable effort restoring the old doors, and you can see this door here. It's not quite straight. There's just a lot of character to it. This side over here is a little bent. It's gonna be interesting to see if we can get all the hardware to go back on properly. Got a really neat closer that'll go on this side. Here's some more of the wood. Really turned out great. I think it's gonna match our custom desk really nicely. The desks are high-end finished. I mean, it just came out of Skylar's shop and it'll look fantastic. And really, these windows are the same way, just some very nice detailing. In some ways, I think the inside is almost nicer than the outside. We didn't have to worry about shedding water, so we were able to simplify the pieces a little bit. We had a little bit of a challenge right here in the center. We had to work with the existing brick wall and some of the dimensions. It was just very challenging to resolve. You can see here the sill piece, how it's wider in the front and it's narrower as it turns the corner. That was actually very difficult to figure out, just to get all that to work out properly. It's a really great piece right there. Hopefully next week we're going to get the permanent power installed, and with the lights on, you'll be able to see the wood a little bit better. This door right here was actually a 1/2 inch shorter than the door that is hanging, and so we went back and we added a new edge to the left, and you really can't tell it that the left style is a little bit wider than the right, but what that's going to do is help us close the gap. This side of the door is all beaten up and sanded, but then they put a nice smooth edge on the other side. Now we've got to cut in for the hinges. That's what we're waiting on, but you can't tell it. That really came together. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of hated to buy an old building and not restore some of the pieces. It would have been a lot cheaper to have just gotten new doors, and of course they would have looked new, but I like to see things that have kind of gained character over the years, been a little beaten up. I think maybe in the next week or two we're going to try to stain this high brick right here, darken it a little bit to match what's happening on the other side. Again, we've got this light coming down the center stairwell, which is fantastic. This week the guys worked on getting the rest of the brick wall out in the back. Hopefully Thursday the steel erector will be here and install the last 2 columns, beams, and a little bit of metal deck here in the back. This portion here, so you can see our column base, and so a column will come up there, and the back wall is about where the edge of the asphalt is. So this will add another 10 feet or so to the back of the building, and we're going to have a nice stair that comes down here as well. We've got a little bit of rotted wood. Sort of amazing that that's the only rot we've gotten. Probably will go through and replace some of those pieces. Our new steel beam is going to be right up against that. We'll probably cut this piece off right here. I don't know, maybe even take it down once we get the steel up. We just have to see how that's going to hang out there. They went and chipped this side away. This side will be covered with granite. So yeah, the guys have really gotten all the brick out of the back. That looks great. We are going to have a little bit of this, I think it was probably some 1960s brick on the inside of the space. It's sort of like going through time, going out to the Grand Canyon and cutting down through the different layers of earth. You have the old brick in the front, a newer fired brick here, and then a even newer fired brick in the back. So as you go from the front of the building to the back of the building, it's like going through time. This newer fired brick actually is mine. That wall is on my property. So I guess in theory, my neighbor could take down his whole building, but he'd have to leave that wall. So yeah, the guy's been working on this. It still continues to rain. We are going to set a temporary fence in the back and put a dumpster back here so we can load all this stuff up, and then protect the area a little bit too, with the hopes of digging out this courtyard pretty soon. You can see the white markings on the asphalt. We are taking out all the asphalt up to those white markings, and then we'll start forming the courtyard. Let's go upstairs. The guy's been working on the brick and they've been painting. We've had a mason upstairs also. He has been adding the thin brick over the last couple weeks. It's just been one guy. He's doing a fantastic job, but sometimes in order to do a fantastic job, it just takes a lot of time. Here, you can see how the thin brick just sticks on the wall. Like any great artist, he complains about his substrate, that his brick is only as good as what's behind it. In the distance, the brick kind of falls off. I was very disappointed in that. He was disappointed in that. He did not do that work. Someone else did. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to take the grouted joints and we're going to smear them over the brick, just to kind of give a different look. Instead of having a scored joint, we're going to smear the grout. I think he's got a good idea of how to do that. And hopefully what that'll do is help shed water as well. One of the things I am worried about over time with this thin brick is water getting in. Now, what you do is this blue mastic, you put it down and you tape all the joints, and he's really done a good job of that. But I don't know over time how that's going to hold up. He still has to tape these joints on the top. It's going to look more like that, and then we'll add another piece of flashing. But who knows over time. I think I may end up painting the bricks at some point just to keep the water out. We'll have to see. It's sort of hard to figure out how this is going to age. The roofers have finished the roof in the front deck. They've finished the roof on the high deck, and you can't tell it, but there is acoustic insulation underneath the perforations. We went through and sprayed all of these beams with WD-40. Really turned out nice. I think I want to hit them one more time, and then we need to wipe down the deck. The deck has got some sort of efflorescence or some sort of just white coating that has appeared, and luckily that just wipes right off. So we'll get up there and do that. They also got this back little roof portion in, and I guess that's what's nice. I wasn't really paying attention as we were walking around, but it really rained yesterday, and I didn't see any rain on the inside of the building, so the roof seems to be working. This basket right here is going to be interesting. That is right at the top of where we need. It may work. It may work. It's close. We might have to cut that down a little bit. You can see the brick in the back. Of course, we got a lot of junk on the roof. I'm not excited about that. I want to get all of that off, and when we get the temporary fence and the dumpster, we'll be doing that. Here's some of the brick going in on this side. Oh, this is where he worked Friday. He's just spent a lot of time trying to line everything up, but you can see how the blue wall is kind of bending out a little bit. So that's because of the old roof. And we've had such problems with my neighbor of water entering their building. I haven't really wanted to cut that out and redo it. So I imagine it'll be okay. We'll probably wrap the new roof membrane up to that point. You won't really be able to tell it, but that's part of the challenge working with these old buildings. The view's starting to come together towards the square. The brick is almost finished on the right. He's working on the left. The idea will be that we'll have some glass windows on the left and a glass nano wall on the right. You'll be able to open this space up and be in here like we are this morning. The building gets smaller as you build more. It's really kind of crazy. But the idea is to finish the brick, get the windows in, and then we can actually put the floor up here, sheetrock, and do all the lights. So this upper area will be done before the bottom floor. There's sort of two separate projects. Here's some other views of the space. I figured we'd walk around a little bit. I just like looking at the front windows. You can start to see the sunlight coming through. Once we get this temporary front down, it's been a long time that it's been up, so I'm really interested to see the views again. And I am worried about working up here and all the people walking down the street, if it's going to be hard to work in the corner window or not. But yes, even you can see some of the ribbing starting to shimmer and glow up in the top as the sunlight comes in. Really looks great. I am going to be interested to see how this coating does hold up. We are going to put a canopy out front. This is supposed to be a UV type coating. Again, the wood if it tries to darken as it exposes to sunlight. I want to try to keep this color as much as possible. Just a great, fantastic color. You can see some of the sunlight now peeking in. It's about 8:30 in the morning and some of the sunlight up top. So that's the reason we're adding a canopy, is just to kind of keep that direct light from coming in. But the roof looks fantastic. The steel looks fantastic. Everything's coming together very nicely. There's just still so much work to do, but we are picking up speed. Some of the hard things are already done. If we can just get the steel in the back, I think that's really going to release this courtyard. The courtyard is going to be a challenge. There's just a lot of complex concrete work. We're going to have a great view of the exterior courtyard through here. And then the old brick is just fantastic back here as well. I've been working on the art glass, how to go to the left. That's been a little bit of a challenge. It's always difficult trying to do something a little different. Take some time to figure some things out. But yeah, guys, that's it. If you stayed with me, if you could like the video, that just would really do me a great favor, and I'd appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, that'd be fantastic as well, just to grow the channel. But yeah, guys, that's it. We'll see you next time. The guys just finished working today from the video I took this morning. I decided it probably better to go ahead and add this video so you guys can see the finished product. The doors are still a little bit wet, but they have the second door hung. This old hardware is just so super cool to me. It's got this great color patina to it. So these are our red door and the blue ceiling. You can see here how the wood is starting to shimmer a little bit. It just catches, I mean, these pieces, look how they catch the light. It's incredible. I thought that these pieces were darker, but what it is the wood, when viewed from different angles, becomes lighter and darker. If you look up top, that wood looks lighter, but the reason is the angle that we're viewing at. It just really looks fantastic. Gosh, it's really, really great. Just very, very nice, cleaned up great. I imagine what we'll do right before we move in, we'll put one more coat on this as well to really finish it up from the street. I'm gonna be interested to see how dirty this gets. There's a lot of traffic, so there may end up being a lot of grit. I don't know what's happening here. This is dust coming up through, but the second coat just really helped. I mean, this is incredible right here. It almost looks like it's on fire from the inside. Again, hopefully next week we're gonna get some permanent power. Just some really, really fantastic wood, just beautiful. It looks great with all of the, I mean, look at this piece right here. Just incredible. Right here, it's almost glowing. I hope it keeps that. It catches the sunlight in such a unique way. I haven't ever seen wood that does that. I mean, just beautiful over here, this piece, the joints the guys did. Very happy with it. All this turned out wonderful through here. There were some details through here that I wish we had done a little bit better. You can see there's about maybe a 3/8 inch jut out on the inside. I had wanted that to be flush, but a lot of that had to do with how these pieces were coming together at the base. I think if I had to do it over again, what I would have done is sanded these doors down a little bit. I was trying to reuse them. Of course, we ended up adding onto this door. It might have worked out, but just pulling them closer together was a little bit of a challenge. And then this right here got a little bit, there's a little bit too many pieces. We probably could have simplified that. We had to add this piece in here to sort of resolve how the windows were coming together, but the wood just really, really happy with how it turned out. And we'll see how it ages over time. But yeah, guys, that's it.